Most traders and people learning to trade will have trading goals, and so they should because they're very important. But the problem is, in many cases, these goals sound motivational, but actually have no practical purpose. And the issue comes down to how we set our goals in the first place. You see, a lot of the time, these goals just become one big wish list. I mean, after all, if you're going to choose something that you want to achieve in your life, you might as well go big or go home, right? But then what ends up happening is that these goals just end up becoming a source of guilt or disappointment when you look back on them and realize you haven't achieved anywhere near to what you wanted to.
That's a problem for future Homer. Man, I don't envy that guy.
So what ends up happening with these huge goals is one of two things. The worst case is that you need the discipline of a monk every single day to come anywhere near to conquering them, so you end up subconsciously giving up on the goal shortly after you start. You just basically check out and that goal gets forgotten. Or the best case is that you do achieve brilliant things, but since they're not quite at the level of this huge goal you've set, you feel like you didn't achieve anything and feel disappointed anyway, which is no good because you probably did some great work and achieved some great things. So it's basically a lose-lose situation. So that means these goals end up becoming absolutely meaningless, or in a worst case, they can cause more harm than good. So why bother setting them in the first place? I mean, yes, we all have things we want to have and we want to achieve in an ideal world, but a goal is different to a wish list because a goal should serve a practical purpose. So I want to talk you through how I approach setting goals to make sure that they're practical and that they're going to help me get to where I want to be. Now, obviously the focus of this video is on trading, but you can also apply the same principles to any type of goals you're setting. Alright, so first things first, what is the actual point of setting a goal? Of course, part of it is that they're motivational, but we don't just want empty motivation. You know, Instagram's for that, you can scroll through and read some motivational quotes. Instead, we want motivation that ends up driving meaningful action. So we need to think of the goals that we set as the point to which all of our actions are going to be directed. It's almost like the compass that's guiding what direction we need to be going in to achieve the things in life that we want to achieve. But there are a number of important criteria that this goal has to fulfill for us. The first thing is that it has to be something that you genuinely want to achieve. It has to be something that has a desirable outcome for you for one reason or another. You know, if it doesn't, then you're not going to be driven enough to achieve it, and this means that you're probably unlikely to take the actions and the effort needed to get there. And it might sound strange, but a lot of people set goals based on things that will impress other people or that other people want them to do, but that's probably not going to mean that they have the motivation to put in the effort and do the actions that they need to take. The next thing is that it has to be something that's realistic and achievable. And I think this is where most people end up holding themselves back. You know, I always find it fascinating to look in the comment section on our YouTube videos and see the goals that people declare for themselves. Look, I know that you might truly believe that you'll be on the Forbes rich list in the next 2 years, but let's just take a more sensible approach that at least guarantees some success. Of course, I do want you to be super ambitious. I love ambitious people, I love ambition, but here's the thing. No one is forcing you to make this goal the only one that you'll ever have for your entire life. It doesn't have to be the be-all and end-all. If you set a goal that's a little bit more down to earth, that you don't have to be on the Forbes rich list by the end of this year, then guess what happens when you hit that more down to earth goal? You can set another goal. You know, you're not limited to one goal forever. So this means if you set goals just a bit outside your comfort zone, meaning that it's something you can definitely achieve, but you'll have to push yourself a bit to get there, it will be much more motivational because you can always see that finishing line there. But then when you hit it, you'll now have momentum. You'll see that you achieved that goal that was outside your comfort zone, so now you can push yourself a bit further for the next one. So that means rather than having this huge goal that leaves you with this big disconnect between where you want to be and what you should be doing right now this morning to do it, instead you're moving forwards towards a better version of yourself and a better life that you want to live. But on the other hand, it's also important that the goal really is out of your comfort zone because it has to push you and it has to require you to grow to achieve it. If not, you'll just smash the goal without even really having to try. And that's not going to motivate you or progress you towards the life you want to live or where you want to be with your trading. You'll just be doing things that you already knew that you could do. So there's no growth involved. All right, so the next point is really important for everyone, but especially important for traders, because I would say the vast majority of trading goals that I hear about fall into this trap. So the goal needs to be based on something that you have control over. It can't rely too much on external factors that you have no control over or relying on aspects of luck. Otherwise, it's not something that you can actually work towards. To give you a really extreme example, if I set the goal that I wanted to win the lotto this year, is that something I can really work towards? Am I growing as a person to get there? I mean, I can buy more lottery tickets, but it's still largely out of my control. So this is sort of the same as when people say that they want to achieve an average return above X% per month, or they want to double their account by so-and-so date. Basically anything based on profit targets or PIP targets. They're relying too much on things that are out of their control. Of course, you can have a system that is statistically profitable over time, but you have no idea 1 month to the next, 1 year to the next, what's going to happen in the markets. In 2019, no one knew 2020 was going to be a global pandemic. So you don't know what the trading conditions will be like, how many opportunities there will be, whether you end up going on a losing streak. You know, you might execute your system to perfection and it might be a profitable system, but that's not a guarantee of a particular return. It's not a guarantee that you won't have a losing streak. I mean, think about it for a minute. Let's say that you set the goal of making a 50% return. Okay, cool. Now, how is that different from achieving a 40% return or a 45% return in terms of the actions that you would need to take? Maybe you'll need to open slightly more trades, risk a little bit more, improve your success rate a little bit more. But then what happens when you aren't on track to achieving those things? What if your success rate isn't good enough? What if your risk reward hasn't been good enough? You're going to start taking actions to try to achieve those things that may end up harming your trading. You end up risking more, over trading, forcing trades, hanging on to losing trades until they become winners, and all kinds of things that aren't going to improve your trading and may just lead you to losing much more eventually. So instead, you can think about things that are within your control, that facilitate good trading, and therefore are going to give you the greatest possible chance of achieving the highest risk-adjusted return that you can for that period of time. So for example, you could set goals based on improving your risk management. That will lead to your losing trades causing less of a hit on your balance, which in turn will improve your profitability. You could set goals based on how you prepare for your trading day each day, knowing that this will lead you to putting in much more optimal performance. If you know that you do need more trades, you could set a goal based on being able to actively follow an extra market each day and still at the same quality that you would following one market. You could set goals based on missing fewer opportunities in the markets that you do follow, or opening more trades according to your system without forcing things. So whether your return ends up being 5%, 20%, 2%, 1%, 100%, it doesn't actually matter. What matters is that you've improved your trading and given yourself the best chance possible of achieving the best returns in that situation without forcing it. Basically, things that are controllable by you, measurable, and will show you a clear improvement in your ability. Because at the end of the day, returns don't always show improvements in trading ability. Just because you make more profit now than you did a year ago doesn't mean your trading has actually got better. Because think about it, even beginners, as we've seen a lot over the past year, can YOLO an account and achieve astronomical profits based purely on luck or investing in Dogecoin. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's repeatable time and time again. And if something's not dependable, repeatable, and if you're not growing, then it means that you're probably not going to achieve your long-term goals. So focus on the things that you can control. All right, so to recap, your goal needs to be something that you genuinely want to achieve, that has an outcome that you see as being desirable for you for one reason or another. Even if that outcome is just a stepping stone that puts you in a better position to achieve a bigger goal eventually, you still would have improved something in your life by achieving that. Now, this goal needs to be realistic and achievable, but outside your comfort zone enough that you have to push yourself and grow in one way or another to achieve it. It can't be something that's too easily achievable, that it gives you no motivation and leads to no growth, but it can't be too unrealistic that you end up giving up or eventually, falling short and feeling disappointed even if you did achieve great things. And finally, the goal has to be within your control to achieve. So rather than setting profit goals or PIP goals, set goals based on actions that will give you the best chance of achieving the most profits in a suitable way, whatever those profits end up being. Set goals that lead to you growing as a trader and improving, rather than just becoming a gambler and taking actions and risks to try and achieve these goals that end up sabotaging your long-term progress. And then once you have those goals, there are two things you're going to need to be able to achieve them. The first is that you need a clear, actionable plan of exactly what you need to do. Now, I always recommend starting from the end and working backwards from there. So assuming you've already achieved that goal and thinking backwards about what steps would have led to that happening. And the second thing is that you're going to need to know what type of person would execute that plan. What behaviors, habits, or daily rituals the sort of person that easily executes that plan would have. And that's the thing you're going to focus on achieving mostly each day. Because the thing is, most people focus on the actions, the steps they need to take, but there's likely to be a reason they haven't done those actions and taken those steps in the past. And it's going to be something that's holding them back, something they're doing or not doing that's causing them not to take those steps. So if you instead focused on becoming the person that naturally takes those sorts of actions, you're going to reduce the friction to achieving that plan and are going to be much more likely to get there. But anyway, that's the topic for another video. For now, I want you to focus on setting your goals, and in an upcoming video, we'll talk in a lot of detail, including looking at the neuroscience and psychology, about how you can actually go about achieving your goals, overcoming procrastination, and all of the things that are going to hold you back. So for now, leave a comment below with your trading goals. Feel free to ask any questions or advice on setting those goals, or if you need any clarification on what we've discussed, please do let me know. And if you're looking forward to the detailed video on how to achieve those goals that you set, hit the thumbs up button to let me know. We really appreciate you supporting the channel with your likes, comments, and subscribing. Thank you very much for that, and thank you so much for watching. Good luck with setting those goals, and I will see you very soon. Take care, guys.